Oh, Tucker's gone. Show it, Andrade. What a goal.
And again, coming Fernando on the 6-yard line. 99th minute. 9 minutes of injury time, and Gabby has won it for Stretford Paddock.
Shot and goal. Oh! Wow!
And that is that. Stretford Paddock, first piece of silverware. Tony Downs Memorial Trophy.
Hello, you're listening to the Stretford Paddock Fans Podcast. I'm joined today by Stu.
Good evening, Chris, Brian.
And joined for the first time on the pod by Brian Casey.
All right, Chris, how you doing? Stu?
Hey.
So we've had a mix-up for the lineup this week. You should know who Stu is by now. If you're not aware, he's your fan rep, but also check out the first podcast where he gave a thorough kind of overview of what he does at the club. And Brian, who many of you may know, but for those of you that don't, Brian, tell us, how did you get involved with the paddock?
Okay, I suppose starting at the start, I suppose it's probably similar to most other people that have kind of got involved with paddock. I know similar to what Stu mentioned last week, you know, kind of being a Man United fan, watching Steve doing his full-time Devils thing, and obviously then when it became Stretford Paddock, and obviously when the whole Super League thing happened, and that's how the club kind of was born. Just kind of got involved, kind of following along from the start, and then obviously the fan ownership then became kind of a thing, and it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, obviously, look, it's no secret, like the stuff that's happening in football at the moment, and you know, having that opportunity to be part of a football club. I mean, most football fans growing up will always say, like, I'd love to own a football club. I'd love to be able to be the one that makes those decisions, and you know, this is how I do it. I do it differently and stuff. So to have that opportunity, albeit at grassroots level, but you know, I think what Steve is doing, he has obviously visions beyond, well far beyond that. So yeah, I think just to have that opportunity to be involved, and obviously have a say in the day-to-day running of a football club it's too hard of an opportunity to turn down.
But on top of that, Brian, you're also a very prominent figure because of the Irish Supporters Club. So I think that's probably our biggest independent supporters club at the moment. So how did that form, and how did you end up kind of creating that concept?
It kind of came together through the Reddit thread, really. When the whole fan ownership thing happened, people just started kind of chatting in that, and it naturally grew. And it was kind of, I don't know, I think someone just put in like, oh yeah, we're setting up a WhatsApp group, and everyone just kind of put in their numbers, and we kind of, it kind of organically, I suppose it kind of happened really, that people kind of gathered into a WhatsApp group. But then a couple of years ago, we kind of decided to try and make it as official as we can. You know, so within the group, I kind of put it to people that, you know, we try and make it make it an official membership supporters club. So I just, you know, I'd started up all the social media accounts, so Instagram and Twitter, and at the time it's X now, but and just kind of promoting the club through that. So repurposing some of the footage and just kind of doing that. And then I came up with the membership pack thing that, you know, so I did up these certificates, you know, a certified member of the Irish Supporters Club. So anyone who joins the Supporters Club gets one of them. They get a welcome letter. They get an ISC sticker and a little members card then as well. I send all that out to the post, all at a cost to myself, which I have no problem doing. And then we get everyone involved in the WhatsApp group. You know, we're always chatting in there. Obviously, it's a WhatsApp group, so it's not just Paddock. There's Man United talk, there's Formula One talk, and everyone's personalities come through. And through that, we organise trips over ourselves. I think there's a couple of lads planning to make a trip over in the next few weeks. I think it's the next international break actually is it 2 or 3 weeks time, I think.
Yeah, I think it's about
Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of lads heading over for that. So, and obviously I'm myself, I'm hoping to head over by the end of April, I think is the next available weekend I have. So, but yeah, it's just a kind of just with well, like with the supporters club, it's kind of we kind of wanted to make it official. So like I've set up a website as well. So if there is any Irish based fans there, just check out Stretford Paddock FC isc.ie, and there's a link there to download the membership form, fill it in, email it into the email address, and we get the membership pack out to you, and we'll get you into the WhatsApp group and get involved.
Yeah, definitely. If there are any Irish fans out there that don't know Brian or don't know the ISC, then we'll try and get you involved there as well. I could say from like a non-Irish perspective, it's always quite fun watching you guys come over. Like we get all the pictures on the social channels, if you like, on the plane
Yeah.
and like getting to the train stations on the other side. It's yeah, it's worth suffering a Ryanair flight for, isn't it? Like a Paddock.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's interesting how often they come over, actually. I mean, like Brian said earlier on while we was warming up for this, he came over for the Wigan game where the historic 10-0 win last season. But there was a small group of you last season came over as well, didn't you? Brought the flag with you, and then this season again, another small group came to watch. I think it was Newton away. Pitch side went and got a couple of cases of beer, and the lads were enjoying their football whilst having a few bevies as well. So it's always a pleasure seeing the Irish Supporters Club, and I think Brian's being modest really because he has that visionary element to him as a person, and certainly there's things that I wouldn't have been involved in now had it not been for Brian's suggestions. So the fact that he's created this Irish Supporters Club and taking things just that one little bit step further will hopefully lead to more supporters clubs around the world starting to pop up.
There's definitely enough fans, I think, around the world. I believe there is kind of I know there's a Americans WhatsApp group. I don't know what way they've kind of structured theirs, whether they've made it kind of a proper supporters club, but you'd imagine there's definitely enough fans globally to kind of that you should see supporters clubs propping up over the next kind of year or two, just kind of on what Stu was saying. There's definitely fans there, so I think there's definitely it's definitely possible that we should see more kind of over the next year or two. So
from memory, we've got fans in Norway, Canada, the US, India, South Africa,
Australia.
Yeah, Australia. So
yeah.
God knows how many. We'll have to get them all over for a big game one day. If we ever get to a cup final, which is going to bring us on to a very pertinent point because we've ended all of our cup runs in the last 2 weeks. So we've had our nice chat about the Irish Supporters Club, which are definitely a positive side of the Paddock global family. But on a more solemn note, we're out of the cups. We've lost 2 games in a row without scoring a goal. And it's our 4th quarterfinal defeat in a row. So from watching the highlights, because we don't have the VO camera right now, like what did you guys think of firstly the game against Arc in the Northern Cup? Maybe I'll ask you first, Stu.
Well, I think generically across both games, I think even though we didn't score, I'm not so worried because we created plenty of chances. We, in the second game against Wythenshawe reserves, who may or may not have had a few players playing for them who don't necessarily always play for the reserves. That I think we had a few players out against them, especially in defence, which obviously left us a bit shaky. I think that we could see that from the highlights if people have watched that. And there's a lack of pace in our defence, left us a bit open, but the lack of scoring doesn't really bother me. I think we created enough. We was obviously there was a penalty shout, a strong penalty shout. I think in both games maybe, but definitely in the Wythenshawe one.
Yeah,
where
I
maybe
remember the one you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah, I think that was in hindsight the ref should have been blowing his whistle. It may look back on that one, but yeah, we're out of the court, we're out of the cups again. It's a really busy time of the year, isn't it? And the especially with grass pitches, maybe cancelling games over the winter, things start to stack up as you move through into March, April, May time, and it becomes busy for squads at this level where they haven't got that professional level of fitness, and injuries start seeping in, availability of squads starts seeping in, and you can only do what you can. I think that the main thing as well that impacts you is obviously I think I can't remember which one it is, Brian, but one of the cups, I think maybe it's the one against Arc. Was that the Northern Cup? I can't
Yeah,
remember, or the Jerry
Northern Cup.
Bolton. The Northern Cup was it? You can only play who you register at the beginning of the season. So when you're acquiring, the under-16s and other people throughout the season, you can't actually register them for the cup. So that left us a little bit short on kind of some of the talent we see through November, December, the likes of I guess Damani and that who could have been available.
Yeah, definitely would have had an impact. Brian, did you catch any of the games, any of the highlights?
I caught some of them, yeah. Like obviously my perception of it now will be slightly different to Stu's, who was at nearly every game. And yeah, like not having the VO camera does make a difference kind of following the club at the moment. You're kind of just catching highlights and stuff. So you're seeing obviously the big moments and the big talking points in the games. So but yeah, kind of similar to what Stu was saying, like there's while it's heartbreaking to be out of the cups when that chance of silverware obviously is for us following Paddock for so long, the opportunity of winning silverware doesn't come that often. So it would be nice to win a cup. But at the same time, I think the fact that we've been in League Two for so many years, I think that needs to be our priority now is just we need to get that league form sorted, which we have seen this season. Like we've seen a massive difference over this season from the last couple of seasons. Like our league form is much better. You know.
From watching the Arc game, obviously we played at home. They looked like a really good side. Just on the highlights, they looked like they had some really talented players, and we had chances in that game. Like we really could have, taken them all the way. But the fact that they nicked the goal, it was a penalty. For me, you just kind of hold your hands up and say it's one of those days. They are a good side. They probably could go on and win it.
Yeah.
Wythenshawe reserves for me, it looked like a horrible, boggy, heavy pitch, and they had a couple of big, powerful guys that really made light work of that, and we find them quite tricky to handle. I know they had a big centre half who was quite tricky, and they had a forward who was like giving us problems the whole game with his pace. Again, we had chances, but didn't convert them.
Not taking anything away from those teams because we have to turn up as well, week in, week out, no matter who the opponent is. And what we saw with Arc was they outfought us for a start, which is unlike us. They were, as in, when I say outfought, I don't mean as in the desire, I mean as in physical battles. They were a really physical team. And then with Wythenshawe, I think that they saw in game some opportunities to exploit certain spaces, and they really did well in finding those gaps. And like you say, with that big physical striker being able to hold up the ball and move things around, whilst we had a couple of players absent, they were able to do that really effectively. So we can't really take anything away from those teams from progressing in the cup.
I think the physical side is actually something we're better at this season. I think we've got a couple of fast, strong, powerful players that can really handle the bad conditions. I know we often talk about the fact that Paddock struggle on grass pitches and do better on the 4Gs of this world, but I think that is true. But I think we're better equipped now to deal with these big, horrible pitches where the ball lands in a ditch and stops, and the conditions make it difficult to play our usual brand of football.
I think one thing we can take from the cup games is, while it's disappointing to be knocked out by these teams, the fact that we more or less hold our own against these teams that are sometimes 2, maybe 3 levels above Paddock's level, and it comes down to moments in games that's either went against us, so there's definitely positives to be taken. While it's devastating that we're getting knocked out of these cup competitions, but it definitely shows the level where Paddock really are.
Yeah, Wythenshawe were definitely one level above in the Cheshire League, and I think Arc were also one level above, the equivalent over in the Liverpool League, I think. But it's not great form going into the league games, but that is our focus now. And if we're all honest, we all want a trophy, but we also really, really want to get out of Division 2. And we've been in it far too long, and this is a good chance. Really, the next 2 weeks, guys, St Helens away, followed by Mersey Valley away, probably our two most difficult games of the season. Might be too early to say season defining, but this is it. This is the crunch. This is the business time, business end. Are you feeling confident? I'll go to you, Brian. First up, we've got St Helens, unbeaten in the league all season.
You have to be confident going into these games. I know, yes, St Helens have they're a flawless record almost in the league, but our league form has been pretty consistent so far. I mean, it's been said many times, we are nearly every team in this league, we're their cup final. So they all turn up against us, regardless of whether top of the league or the bottom of the league. So their level is consistently the same when they play us. So we just have to be that one little bit, that one moment quicker to the first ball, or you know what I mean. It's just it comes down to moments. But yeah, look, I mean, I'd be confident that Paddock can get the results that we need. I mean, look, it is tight at the top, but I'd be confident that I'd be confident. I know I don't sound it, but
Would you
dying to say we're going to do it, but don't say it.
Brian is definitely the most positive, enthusiastic supporter. He normally expects 5 or 6-0 win most weeks. Would you take a point, Brian, or do you think we need to go there and win?
Look, it'd be great. It'd be great to get the win, but I suppose, look, in the grand scheme of things, you take a point. It is hard to know, in it, because St Helens are they are going to win the league more than likely, so
agreed.
It's probably more important that we take team points off the teams that we're fighting for that second place. But no, I'm not saying that it's okay if we lose. That's not what I mean. But it's just mean I wouldn't be devastated if we didn't beat St Helens.
Stu, you're quite close to the pitch side most weeks. Do you think losing 2 games in a row ahead of these big league fixtures is a bad omen going into the games, that we're on bad form, or do you think this is the perfect moment to have a kick up the backside and let the players know, if you relax for one moment in these games, you will get turned over and get beaten? So do you think we could turn this negative into a positive, or are you concerned about the lack of goals?
Yeah, 2 negatives make a positive. It doesn't matter what happened in the cups. They're just a different competition. There's reasons. The lads, we talked about culture in the last podcast. The lads know what they did wrong. They'll fix that. St Helens are not perfect so far since the turn of the year, as we've talked about before, for whatever reason, and they've just been smashed by Claybrow the week before. They play Stretford Paddock, who smashed them 4-0 in the cup. So I would say that this is the wrong time for them to be playing us. We need to be going there with our chests puffed out, and ready to put on the professional display, regardless of where we're playing, home or away, in front of 10 fans or 250 that they'll probably have there. So no bad omens from previous games, and we need to be going there and winning it.
I do like that about playing St Helens. It's a proper little football stadium with a little fan base as well. It feels like you're playing 3 or 4 steps higher than you actually are when you play away at St Helens. I'll be honest, I think I would take a point, but I think it's more important that we beat Mersey Valley the week after, because I think realistically that's who we're fighting with for that second spot, along with Lim Rovers, who have won their last 5 league games now. So they've really thrown themselves back into well, as it stands, they sit second in the league. So they're definitely in the mix.
If any players are listening to this, Chris, I want the players to know that a point is not acceptable. We're going there to win. We're going there to smash them again. And we're going to smash and grab them. We're going to go to Mersey Valley, and we need to be going there and doing the same business.
As good as St. Helens are, and as good as they've been, I don't think they've ever beaten us. I think in our first season in the Cheshire League, they weren't as strong as they are now. And then last year, we beat them home and away, I think. And then obviously this year, we've drawn the first game of the season and then beat them in the cup. So
they just about got that draw off us at the beginning of this season as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, the Mersey Valley game for me, that's the one where, especially because they beat us at our own place earlier in the season, so we kind of owe them one. But I think it's going to be very tight between Paddock, Lymm and Mersey Valley. I think it's important to see how they adapt with I think they've lost their top scorer who's gone to to a higher league, and I think their captain's currently injured as well. So to see how adaptable and versatile they are with missing players is a big one. And then again, we really have good results against St. Helens, but against Mersey Valley, we struggle. Like, I don't remember the last time we beat them. So that, as annoying as it is, our bogey side happened to be the side where, in a shootout for that runners-up spot.
Well, Chris, so I'm sure that Mersey Valley would be preferring to play us with their captain and with Sam Deering, but they're not unless their pitch is unavailable, I guess.
Well, they've got 2 weeks to get that booked out because we're playing them in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find a way if they can.
Are you more confident against Mersey Valley than you are against St. Helens?
No, they love playing us. They love playing us. Everyone does, like you say, but no, there's just something a little bit different when you play Mersey Valley. They always seem to turn up, and to be fair to them, this season, they have put in one hell of a run of form. The manager's done really well with the players that he's brought in, and Sam Deering or not, they'll still be one hell of a team to try to beat and come away with something. So
it is a tough ask, isn't it, to go 2 away games on the bounce after the 2 cup defeats. But knowing Steve, he'll have those players fired up, and the players themselves will be fired up for both games and ready.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
We've got 9 games to go. We've got to play St. Helens and Mersey Valley both away. We've still got to play Lymm Rovers twice. There's going to be some really good games to watch over the next month and a half as the season comes to a close. Speaking of being able to watch the games, I think you've got some good news for us, haven't you, Stu?
What's that about, mate?
The VO camera.
Oh, the VO. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was good news this morning, but so the Stretford Paddock Supporters Fund has reached £500 of its target to try and replace the VO. Fantastic member supporter base who have been donating their own cash towards an additional fund to be able, which is there for all sorts of different reasons. But with the VO being out of place, being out of action for live streaming, the funds have now been started to be prioritised for a primary goal of replacing that VO for live streaming. So we've just found out off VO that it's going to cost a little bit more. So an email is probably going to be going out to the wider fan base, all 1,300 members ish, about how they can donate towards that if they'd like to get back up live and running for match days.
It'd be fantastic if we could get that up and running for the big games of the season that are coming up.
Will there be a link, Chris, in the description?
Yeah, I can add that in. Yeah. Shameless plugging of the supporters fund, but it's what it's there for anyway.
Thank you.
This is why we get Brian on. We've just lost 2 games. We need his positivity. So hopefully we get 2 good results in the next game, and then we can get somebody a bit less cheery on and
get me over for the games, because I have 100% attendance record. So any game I've been to, Paddock have won. So
I've got the opposite, mate. I've never seen us win. So I never go anymore for the good of your chances of happiness. All right, so I was going to ask a quick question to you both before we go. If you could have one former player former Paddock player in today's squad to give us that extra boost to get over the line and secure that promotion place, who would you pick and why? And I'll ask you first, Brian.
Ooh, okay. There's a couple of players that I would have back. There's a couple of obvious ones, obviously, Oatsy being one. He was my favorite player from the start, and I have his jersey in a frame, signed by him as well from my first visit over. He was kind enough to give me his jersey after the game. It was the last game of the season when we bet. Oh, what was the team?
West Dids and Chorlton, was it?
Yeah, West Dids, when Dom scored that unbelievable goal from about 40 yards out.
That's it.
So obviously Oatsy will be up there. There's, Kieran obviously for his goals, but I think for the impact that he had, I'll probably go Callum.
Callum Walsh.
Yeah, just his obviously his pace, his directness. Look, he had a wicked wand of a left foot as well. I managed to catch him live as well up in when they came over for the pre-season game up in Dublin a couple of years ago, and to see him live is just, he's an unbelievable player. So he'd be my pick to come back into the current squad.
He was a great character as well, wasn't he? He really got involved with the video production and the socials, and you could see that he really enjoyed his time here. I think the issue with him was travel, wasn't it, to get to the games? I think he came from quite far.
That's right. Yeah, he when we moved to Hyde Football Club, that stadium this season, I think he was struggling to be able to make it over for match days and things, so that called his time after one season. But with Brian, he was a fantastic player for us. He's very unpredictable, probably to play against. Could do anything that you really wanted, and including scoring some fantastic goals. So yeah, thankfully not a big miss though, is it, this season with the players we've been blessed with to fill those sorts of gaps. But Callum was a hell of a player.
So would you also pick Callum, Stu, or would you go with somebody else?
No one. I'm happy with the squad we got. Believe in all of them. Yeah. Are you going to press me for one though, Chris? Are you?
Well, you're insisting on being a politician and not actually saying anything. It's good for the podcast.
I had to give an answer, so you have to.
Okay. I think just because I think that he would bring that defenses win titles attitude to the back end of our season, I'd bring back Oatsy.
It's a good shout.
Yeah. Leadership standards, expectations, taking that culture again to another level. Could play across the whole of the back line if you asked him, play anywhere you want if you asked him. But I think back end of the season, when you want to shore up that defence and make sure everything's absolutely solid, he's your man. And but who would you take out if you brought back someone like Oatsy? Because the whole of the back line is performing consistently, aren't they?
And that's why I didn't pick him. Because who do you take out,
I have the same dilemma because I would take back Tom Jones in a heartbeat. I just used to think a couple of seasons ago, you played Tom Jones up front, he'd get you 2 goals a game. But Damani is absolutely killing it at the moment in that 9 role, and he's basically on a goal a game himself. So I'd love to get him on here, and maybe I'll try to in a couple of weeks. But yeah, Damani's been fantastic, but I just love Tom Jones. He was so cool and just effortless goal scorer. Just made the game look so easy.
Yeah, he did. He's a successful musician now, isn't he? He's doing really well.
Yeah, one of those annoying, multi-talented people. It's good at everything.
That's not unusual.
Waiting for something.
I was waiting for my moment.
Do you know what? Those jokes used to go around the club every week. I've forgotten about it, but yeah. All right, well, that's a really nice, puntastic way to end the podcast, I think. So just want to say thanks again to both of you for joining. Thank you to everyone else for listening in, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another episode. But for now, it's bye from Stu.
Goodbye, guys. Up the paddock.
And goodbye from Brian.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks again for having me, and up the paddock.
Thanks, guys. See you on the next one. Up the paddock.